Welcome to week 5. I want to talk just a bit more about collaborative work before talking about our week 5 focus and where you should be at with your project for work. Collaboration is incredibly important. Collaborative thinking and working is what will set you apart in your professional life. And I'm not kidding, I've seen examples of this over and over and over again. If you can work with a group of peers, brainstorm effectively, manage a project or multiple projects, come up with ideas in collaboration with others, some of which bomb and some of which soar, you will be valued wherever you work. As I mentioned last week, in week 4, although we often in school especially value individual isolated tasks, in your professional life, much of what you do will be done collaboratively, whether it's with the person in the cubicle next to yours, a group at different offices across the US, or a team of people spread all over the world. And here's some tough love, but this is the truth. There's no such thing as equality in collaborative work. There's always someone who doesn't pull their weight. There's always someone who does 3 times as much work as everyone else. I see this every day in my work, whether it's observing a group of interns, managing my staff, or serving on committees with other faculty members. But here's what I fundamentally believe. Those who work hard and work well and value what other people contribute will get their comeuppance. People who can help bring a group together to work better and stronger will always be valued and often be rewarded. Is it frustrating to take on more than your fair share? Yes. Do we go home at night and take out those frustrations on our phones and our Xboxes? Absolutely. Do we get our just rewards? Often. Our week 5 focus is on challenges that social and cultural entrepreneurs face. We've read about some already, but haven't quite specifically pinpointed and talked about challenges. Understanding the challenges and problems of any endeavor is critical to success. If you can anticipate failure, you might be able to avoid it. If you can anticipate challenges, you might be able to work around them. If you can learn from the challenges you face, you'll be a stronger professional for doing so. I labeled this week challenges, but I think perhaps a more productive way to think about them is as opportunities. I'm not going to outline all the issues, complexities, and opportunities of engaging in social or cultural entrepreneurship. And certainly you guys have read about and seen some of the challenges in our readings, cases, and sparks. What I'm going to do here is talk about how one author situates challenges and then share what I see to be 4 key challenges. Pravin Bise, a professor at the Guru Nanak Institute of Engineering and Technology, defines social entrepreneur as a person who identifies practical solutions to social problems by combining innovation, resourcefulness, and opportunity. Committed to producing social value, these entrepreneurs identify new processes, services, and products, or unique ways of combining proven practice with innovation, specifically to address complex social problems. Whether the focus of the social entrepreneur's work is on enterprise development, health, education, environment, labor conditions, or human rights, they're people who seize on the problems created by change as opportunities to transform societies. Bise continues by distinguishing social entrepreneurship from capital or business enterprise. And he says social entrepreneurship focuses on trying to make the world a better place to live in, focusing more on the greater good, engaging in projects that may or may not generate obvious value or income, investing time and energy on changing society, and finding gaps and creating ventures to serve unmet or ignored markets. And in this context, profit isn't necessarily the key. The driving motive or purpose is more on social change, and profit isn't necessarily wealth, but on social environmental capital. Some of the challenges that Bise describes includes conveying your business ideas, attracting donors, working remotely, hiring people, finding time to do the work you're so passionate about, fundraising, getting the support of business people and government, officials, maintaining product quality, sustaining employees, dealing with competition from others, promoting awareness, and much, much more. And Professor Bisset is just one of many scholars and professionals talking about the challenges of engaging social entrepreneurship. And you'll read more about challenges in the week 5 readings and cases. I want to focus here on 4 challenges that I personally think social and cultural entrepreneurs face. The first challenge/opportunity is culture. There are horrible stories of forward-thinking entrepreneurs who enter a community with an attitude of, I'm here with my money and my ideas to change your lives. That's not quite how things work. You can only make change in a community or culture from within. And it takes hard work and a lot of effort to get to know the community. You have to genuinely invest. You have to listen and listen thoughtfully and carefully and listen for a long time. You have to build ethos and trust. You have to recognize when a community's or culture's preferences or priorities are different from your own. The second challenge/opportunity is that of connections. The social or cultural entrepreneur has to distinguish him or herself in a market while building relationships. This is not to say that relationship building and networking building isn't part of business entrepreneurship. It is, but much more so than with business entrepreneurship. Connections and relationships are crucial and essential to social or cultural entrepreneurship. You have to put time, energy, and effort into building allies and making and maintaining connections. No social or cultural entrepreneurial venture will thrive without doing so. The third challenge/opportunity is what I call the infrastructural context, and this encompasses institutional dynamics of the organizations you're working with, the larger and smaller economic context, the technological context, legal issues, and much more. For a small example, in 2008, when the U.S. economy had tanked, a lot of both nonprofits and social and cultural entrepreneurial ventures dried up and went away. They disappeared. Those that survived had situated themselves well in an integrated way into larger infrastructures. They were able to navigate the economic changes, best put technology to their use to thrive, and they were able to tap into legal resources. The fourth and last challenge is failure. Every book, every article, every biography, every webpage I have read about social or cultural entrepreneurship focuses on failure. What distinguishes successful ventures from unsuccessful ones is people who can fail forward. That is, people who aren't afraid to put a big idea out there and see it flop. People who can pick themselves back up and say, okay, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Let's try it differently. People who learn from their mistakes and can move forward. I promised I'd keep this week's materials light, given that you're going to be doing a good deal of research and work as you continue to work in your groups on Project 4. Again, this week's focus is on challenges and opportunities. The first piece you're going to read is called In Search of the Hybrid Ideal, in which the authors argue that to address deep, complex social challenges, we need broad and deep tools and methods. And they describe organizations that adopt models that blend social commitment with profit generation. The next piece is a TED Talk by a businessman and entrepreneur, Michael Porter, who talks about the shared value to be built when we take business practices and put them to use in addressing social issues. The third reading is a chapter from a book called The Social Entrepreneur's Playbook. And in the chapter, the authors discuss the challenges of addressing the socio-political aspects of any social or cultural entrepreneurial initiative. There are 2 cases for this week. The first is a piece about social entrepreneurship in the context of Ukraine. The second case is about Google as a social entrepreneurial initiative or organization. You're going to read a profile of Google. You're going to see a piece that highlights some of Google's initiatives and projects for 2014. And you're going to read Google's company mission statement, 10 things we know to be true, which forms the foundation of all the work Google does, corporate and philanthropic, revenue generating and capital building, and more. This week, you're going to continue working in your groups on your project 4 memos. Your memos must be completed using the template provided in our shared Google Drive folder. Finished memos should be 3 to 4 pages, memo formatted, so single space. You might not be able to do all the work I'm asking you to do in 4 pages, so it's okay if you go a little bit over 4 pages. That's fine. By now for Project 4, you should have reviewed the assignment closely, taken a look at the memo template, shared contact info and work availability with the members of your group, made a copy of the memo template into your group's Google Drive folder if that's where you're doing your work, done some research looking at award information and criteria, done some brainstorming as a group, and started to draft pieces of your memo. As for week 5 priorities, you should have a solid draft to work from, and I'd suggest you focus on reviewing the response rubric and evaluate your work based on it, identifying areas that are weak or undeveloped, aim to have a complete draft ready for your group to review and make final suggestions, edits, and changes to by, I'd say, Thursday night, June 16th. And if you want during week 5, at some point, I'd be happy to review your draft memo, and you can choose when. You can share an early outline and really rough draft with me so you have more time to revise, or later on if you have a more polished draft, you want some final feedback before turning it in, that'd be fine too. You can email me your draft, or you can ask me to review your draft in your Google Drive folder if you're using Google Drive. Some suggestions I have for working this week on Project 4 include create a work plan for this week, identify everything you need to do to have a final draft ready by noon on Sunday, June 19th, identify someone in your group who's a strong copy editor or proofreader and maybe give them 24 hours to finalize the report. Make sure someone in your group is responsible for downloading your group's report off of Google Drive or wherever you're working and uploading it to D2L by noon on Sunday. I've shared with you the grading rubric, but some of the things specifically I'll be looking for, that you don't just suggest an award, but you anchor the award to MSU's entrepreneurial culture and our institutional mission and vision, that you explicitly draw from our class readings to explain specific chunks of the memo, the purpose, the need, the impact, the recommendations, that you include appropriate textual information, quotes, summaries, and more, and finally that the memo reads as a collaboratively crafted document. Again, our week 5 focus is on challenges and opportunities. Your memos are due uploaded to D2L on Sunday. Don't be shy. Contact me as a group or contact me individually if you have any questions at all as you continue working on Project 4, or if you have any questions at all about the week 5 materials.